Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Joining me now is Michael B. Moore, the Democrat looking to unseat Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Michael, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
It is great to have you back. And as you know, ever since Kevin McCarthy's ouster as House Speaker, Congresswoman Nancy Mace has been in the news, in the headlines. And I want to get your reaction to some of them. Let's start most recently. Congress did approve a continuing resolution to avert a government shutdown on Monday night. Though this stopgap bill does only avert the government shutdown, or keep the government funded rather, through January, Nancy Mace voted against it. What do you make of that vote?
Well, look, I think Nancy Mace is showing us who she really is. Ultimately, people in the first congressional district have been confused. She says one thing, she votes another way. She is now aligning herself with the really extreme element of her party. We all know she was one of the 8 Republicans who voted to oust Kevin McCarthy. The next day she was gloating with Matt Gaetz on Steve Bannon's podcast. She said that she voted against the speaker because of issues around women's reproductive health, but voted for a speaker that is even more extreme on those issues than McCarthy. So it all doesn't make sense. Look, there are people who I talk to every day who are in need. They are struggling to provide for their families. There are seniors who are struggling with prescription drugs. There are a whole host of issues that serious people need to deal with in Washington. And Nancy continues to show that that's not who she is.
You do have something with former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy in common, and that's you both have called Nancy Mace a flip-flopper. And the Washington Post posed this question about her: a maverick or MAGA warrior? Which one do you think she is? Where do you fall? Where does Nancy Mace fall when it comes to Republicans? The MAGA side or the maverick side?
Well, I think she falls wherever political expedience leads her. It seems that she is trying out to be, former President Trump's vice presidential candidate. Either that, or she's looking for a job in the media. Maybe she's gunning for your job. Who knows? But I think people all around. Her Republican colleagues are frustrated with her. Democrats are frustrated with her. There's so little that Democrats and Republicans can agree on these days, but everybody agrees that Nancy Mace is just too extreme, and certainly too extreme for the district that I live in. Trump won the first congressional district in South Carolina by only 52%. This is a real swing district, and she's alienating herself and proving that it's all about Nancy.
Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy told CNN earlier this month that he does not think that Nancy Mace will be reelected. What are your thoughts on his comments?
Well, here and again, there's not much that Kevin McCarthy and I agree with, but we certainly agree on that. Look, for me, ultimately, this is a message about just how broken the politics in Washington is. There are people, again, who need Washington to work for them. They pay their taxes, they do what is required of them, and expect the government to work. And it seems that Republicans are too busy with their infighting to allow even the basic operation of government to work. So it's quite frustrating.
I do want to talk about this sense that the government isn't working, because when you hear that, there is a continuing resolution that passed. It's good that the government isn't shutting down right before we get into the holidays. Obviously, that's a good thing. But it essentially just kicks the can down the road till after the holidays in January. And all studies suggest that most people really don't believe in the future of our political system. They think that the future is not too bright there. Let's say you're in Congress. How do you fix that?
Well, look, I can work with anyone of goodwill who has the interest of the people in mind, come together. So I think, Gandhi said that you've got to be the change in the world that you want to see. I'm a common sense, guy with a business background who really is focused on getting things done. And I think we need more people who really care about the welfare of the people they represent in Washington. And so, I hope to be among a number of people who will be elected to Washington who will be about the business of legislating and getting things done for the American people.
I'm really interested to hear what your constituents think. Nancy Mace, after she did vote to oust Kevin McCarthy, she wore a shirt with the Scarlet Letter on it, and she said this to the media. She's, quote, "I'm on the side of the people," and, quote, "I only answer to the people." But she voted against that continuing resolution. So she voted essentially to shut the government down. Is that what the people want in South Carolina?
No, as I said, the people in South Carolina, not only do they want, but they deserve to have a government that is of, by, and for the people and that works for them. And Nancy, with her Scarlet Letter stunt, is basically showing that for her it's all about headlines. Look, there was an article that came out last week, I think in the Daily Beast, that just talked about it, revealed that she calls herself National Nancy, and that she has a quota that her staff have to fulfill on a daily basis in getting her on the national media. Look, my ancestors got to the 1st Congressional District back in the late 1700s and have been there ever since. It would be the highest aspiration of my life to represent and serve those people, and that's what I'm focused on.
And what is next for your campaign here as we head into primary season, just a few weeks away?
Yeah, we're continuing to do the hard work of campaigning. We're creating presence in every county in our district. We are doing the hard work of raising money. We are out talking to people, and more importantly, listening to people about what actually matters to them. And so that's where I hear so much of the frustration in South Carolina's 1st Congressional District about their current representative, that, they thought that she was all about her. They understood the enormous gap between what she says and what she does. And now with these stunts, people I believe are really looking for someone who cares about the 1st Congressional District, who wants to serve the 1st Congressional District, and who has the ability to roll up their sleeves and work with people across the aisle to get things done.
And I know that you said you do have family history in the 1st Congressional District. We talked about that the last time you were on. But as you also know, this seat has been largely red since the 80s. So where do you think that voters can change their mind and make this district blue?
Well, look, we live in a world where people put these hard ideological stakes in the ground, Democrat, Republican, and, it's sort of the nature of identity politics. I just fundamentally believe that Americans have so much more in common than not. I believe that the people of South Carolina, the people of the 1st Congressional District, we all need to have clean air and water. We all need to have jobs that allow us to take care of our families. We all need a healthcare system that works for us and doesn't put us at both a risk for a health catastrophe, but also a financial catastrophe. We all need to feel safe in our communities from gun violence. It's the #1 cause of death among young people. We all need to feel like the democracy that our founding fathers imagined and that we thought we lived in is really the system that is prevailing now. So there are just some basic common sense, kitchen table kinds of issues that really all Americans need. I talk to folks all the time, and for example, Nancy Mace and others are looking to cut Social Security and Medicare. Well, I got to tell you, there are a lot of Republican seniors who need Social Security and Medicare to live on. So I'm focused on breaking down these barriers, reaching across aisles, and let's just focus on those things that we all have in common as Americans, as human beings, even, and move us all forward.
Michael B. Moore, I appreciate you coming on today again. Thank you so much. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Would love to be back soon.